Welcome to the Dunkin Music Lounge. My name is Garrett, and I am excited to sit down with this amazing artist right next to me. Like she's not here, I'm going to talk very highly of you as if you're not here. Scout Willis, thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's start with the congratulations first. Music out, new music out, videos are out, and I would love to dig deep more into that in just a second. But let's kind of like go back. I mean, you sound so amazing, and people were talking around here. Were you trained musically? Like, did you ever take music lessons? Like, where did this voice come from?
This voice came from God, baby.
Well, that's the obvious, but.
No, I have done some training. When
Okay.
I was younger, I did all of the sort of prerequisite child things. I was in plays in school. I did choir, sang in a church. I didn't do anything for a long time.
Right.
And then I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, I was getting more serious and also was wanting to care for my voice. And I started working with a teacher and kind of really honing it.
So, so obviously, music was a part of your passion and something you wanted to do when you got older. But like, what was that point from when it's like, okay, this is just fun to, hey, this is potentially a career for me?
The first time I ever even considered that
Right.
remotely was in college. I think I always had loved it, but I kept talking myself out of it in a way. I think because it's something that's so dear and precious to me,
Right.
and always has been, that it was very easy to convince myself that it wasn't something I could pursue seriously. And then in college, I had a band with my dear friend Gus Wenner, and I thought, oh my God, we could actually do this. I could actually
This is
do
a thing,
this.
yeah.
And then after college, I talked myself out of it again, and I had to get a real job. And then music.
What was the real
kept-
job? What was the quote-unquote real
okay,
job?
I worked for this amazing designer named Lindsay Thornburg for a little while, and then I did interior design. I did 2 spaces in New York while I lived here as a veritable child. And then I had my own clothing line for a moment.
And then what? If from that point you go, did you miss music, or was it just you were just so caught up in working that you didn't have time for
No,
it?
music was always what I was doing in private.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You and
after
friends
college. No, after college, I taught myself how to play guitar, and I never thought I would be someone who could play an instrument. It was just one of those things
Right.
that I really thought was off limits to me. And then my dad gave me this little 1950s parlor guitar, and I hung it on my wall. And every morning I woke up and I grabbed it. It was within reach of my bed, which made it quite easy. So every morning I grabbed it and I would just practice. And then very quickly I started writing my own music. And it was the way that I started processing deep emotion. So
Wow.
it was the thing that kept me company when I was going through any turmoil, upheaval, when I was questioning something. And
Cheap therapy.
yeah. Yes.
So learning guitar, just in general, I mean, no YouTube, no professional, like, so you were just messing around with strings and learning chords and.
I would look up songs that I loved. I looked up a lot of Patsy Cline
Okay.
songs with easy chords, and I would have to literally place my fingers as I was changing it. It was so counterintuitive in this strange way, and I would just practice going between chords. And so as I got a little more comfortable with that, I always wrote melody in my head. That's how I used to do it with Gus.
Right.
And I would voice note them, or I would get them down somehow, and I could translate it to someone else, but I just didn't know how to do it. So then I started coming up, I was just coming up with my own melodies, and I would just try out every chord I knew to see which one fit the melody. So I developed my own funny way
It works.
of translating.
It works. Then from there, where was it sound? You said Patsy Cline and things like. So were those kind of musical inspirations? I mean, is that someone you grew up on, the genre of music?
Yes, I grew up with a lot of Patsy Cline. I got a serious musical education from the time I was very young. My dad was very instrumental in that.
Right.
It was the Coasters, the Beatles, the Monkees, the Rolling Stones. It was the Drifters. My mom was listening to a lot of Patsy Cline. She also was listening to a lot of R&B, and she was listening to sort of 90s rock and roll alt femme singers. Beth Hart was a big one in our family. Alanis, yeah. So we kind of had a far.
You know, I forgot to follow up, but do you still have that guitar?
I absolutely have that guitar.
On the wall, or do you use it, or is it more? Is it off the wall now,
Well, it was only ever on the wall because I lived in a tiny shoebox apartment in the Lower East Side, and that was the only safe place for it.
It also turned into your dinner table too.
Yeah.
But you still use it though from time to time, just to hang
Yeah,
out?
absolutely.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I use it all the time.
All right, so let's. So you transitioned from college, get into music. 2022, reading up. You got into music, and then you just decided to take another break. Did you get into more interior design, or
no? I didn't take a break. Kind of from 2016 on, I've been dedicated and focused on music.
So when you released music in 2022, you started working on more music, or you were just like?
I've worked on more music. Yeah. So the album that I released in 2022, we recorded during the pandemic.
Of course.
And I had a lot of those songs from probably 2015 on. And the journey at that point was just figuring out whatever fear, insecurity, emotional blocks. On GarageBand, self-produced and made and labored over an entire EP that's never seen the light of day.
Yet.
Will
it? Could it?
Absolutely. I think they're very sweet, and there is something about them that I still love. A friend mixed and mastered them for me, so we took it from that phase. But that was when I realized you can sort of stay in that process, tweaking and fine-tuning forever, and that's actually a very safe place to stay. And
How
I
come?
remember, because then you don't have to actually take the risk and share yourself. And I had this moment, and I kept thinking, why can't I find a producer? Why isn't this happening for me? What's happening? And I was really considering it one day, and I thought, oh, okay, here's what it is, because this is the thing that is the closest to my heart. This is the thing that is my connection to the gods. And if I were to share this with the world and still feel wanting and be found wanting publicly, it would feel like I was dying.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's true for a lot of artists.
Yeah.
And once I realized that, and I said, okay, and then I just let it go. It was like as soon as I realized it, I just decided to drop it. And even as we were making the record and in the mixing process, I saw how I can get so
granular.
I'm very specific. Yeah, I'm very and I'm like this with music videos. I'm like this with everything. I love the fine little details. I love getting in there. I have to be in the room when things are mixed, and I love it. And I realized that I could stay safe and in this process forever, because I would hear something, and one day I thought, oh my God, this is gorgeous. I'm so happy with it. I'm so proud. And a week later, I think, is this trash?
Control-Alt-Delete. No more.
Never delete, no.
Control-Alt.
But I realized, I said to myself, Scout, do you want to be perfect or do you want to be prolific? And I decided I wanted to be prolific. And so I decided I would let this be a snapshot of where I was, and I would stop judging it, and I would just keep moving. And so for this new record, I went into it with the intention of having it be not precious, having fun in the studio, and being a little more hands-off, surrendered to the process, very collaborative, and to do it fast and dirty and get it out fast.
Was it hard to do that, though?
No, it was amazing. My first record took a year to make. And the songs that I'm working on now, the record that we're pretty much finished with, has just been a true joy.
Which we'll get sometime in it's weird to say 2025, but here we are.
Next year.
Literally 2025, that's when we'll get the album, right?
Yes, early next year.
All right, so let's talk about the two songs that you did give us.
Yes.
Let's start with Over and Over.
Okay.
The way you describe music is kind of interesting, because it's a very, music is very personal. Yeah. The song means a lot to you, and I can ask you what it means, but then you ask anybody else in the room, what do you get from it? And you'll get a totally different interpretation of it.
Absolutely.
But for you, Over and Over, from whether it be a thunderstorm, is there something in this room, and you start hearing music? Like, is that how your brain works when crafting a song like that?
Yes. I am like a sponge. and I'm constantly experiencing the world and other people and experiences, and the way I metabolize that is through art.
Right.
And perhaps not in a one-to-one way where after this interview I go home and I'm writing about it, but I journal every day. I'm constantly absorbing experiences, and then that will just make its way in. And I can't labor over music. It's just not the way it works for me. I have to wait until the muse strikes, and I can court the muse, and I can sit down and play, and I can dedicate myself with total devotion to my craft. But when a song wants to come, the song wants to come.
So you said you journal, and do you actually write, or are you like a voice note, voice pad?
No, I'm a journal girly. I have stickers, I have oil pastels.
So you go to CVS and get a notebook and write it down?
CVS, babe. I have a nice journal.
Well, no. But like, Dua Lipa wrote a whole album on a CVS black and white notebook.
That's chic, and I have nothing against CVS notebooks. I want that to be said. But I do love a stationery store. Of course. You know?
Do you have your name, like your name titled on the journal?
No, I'm not that fancy. Let's say medium fancy.
All right, so back to the music too. So like your music that you put out too. I mean, we were talking about early growing up in the '90s, and the feedback wasn't as instant as it is now. Like your music video literally just came out like hours ago from when we're recording this, and all positive reviews. Oh. But your toughest critics, I have to think, probably are your sisters. Like
no, hardly. Well, they're obsessed with me.
Well, I
we're
know
obsessed with each other.
Your family is very positive, but do they keep it real with you? Like do
I
they get
try
under
to
your skin?
only surround myself with people who will absolutely keep it real with me. The harshest critic of me in this room is me.
Well, outside
Let's
of you,
be real.
I think we learned that from creating from your music.
No, or trolls on the internet.
Well, there's plenty of those.
I understand.
None on your music video, and let's keep it that way. But I could see, because I know my sisters too. Like they know that to get under my skin, just if they want to be annoying, they'll be like, "Oh, what were you wearing in that interview the other day?" Like,
no, we're not like that. We're not annoying on purpose. I think, obviously, with our family, we installed the buttons that get pushed.
Right.
But we don't ever do that on purpose. I think in a perfect, idyllic world, my sisters and I are all best friends, super close. Nothing ever comes between us. And at the same time, life comes between us, and sometimes you have to have friction with the people you love to continue growing and learning, because we're all becoming different, more evolved versions of ourselves all the time, and every once in a while you have to renegotiate a relationship contract, let's say. So that's the only time I really have friction with my sisters.
I think I'm more concerned about my sisters. Brittany and Ashley, if you're listening, take after Scout, please. All right, so let's talk about your latest single, too.
Yes.
I mean, watching the music video, to me, it felt like a free, open, fun, carefree experience. Just in creating the sound, creating the video. Like, it felt like you got to you were the boss. Like, you know, hey, I want to do this. No one's saying, hey, Scout, why don't we add a little this? Or like, everything just seemed like it was all you, personally.
Well, every artistic endeavor at this level, when you are collaborating with other people, is absolutely a collaboration.
Right.
That video feels so me because I have been so lucky to work with the most amazing artists and collaborators who all really love and understand the world I'm trying to build. So it's 100% because I have found amazing collaborators who I love.
Right.
It is very much from my heart, and it is very much from my mind and my psyche, and at the same time, it's nothing that I can take sole credit for.
There's a post on your Instagram, I think probably from a music video, but it's you sitting there beautifully, and then there's a hairy leg right behind you. I was kind of curious whose hairy leg that could have been. See if I could pull it up real quick.
I know the image you're talking about.
Yeah.
That is my beloved hairstylist,
Okay.
Brandon, who not only is a hair genie. I don't know if you saw on the Instagram, there's a photo of my stomach and my name is written out in hair.
I didn't go that in deep. I just saw the hairy
it's
leg.
right next to it.
I saw the hairy leg
No,
in back
pull it
of
up.
you.
It's right next to it. Because I was on the Over and Over photo shoot, which I did with this photographer and director, Paige Strabala, who is so talented. And Brandon, the hairstylist, came up to me and he was using all these hair pieces to make sort of finger waves. And he said, Scout, I don't know if this is weird, but I made your name out of hair.
Oh, that.
It's right there. And
Whose hair was that?
It's
fake hair.
It's
yeah.
extensions. And I said, that actually is my ultimate dream, to have my name written out in hair. Seriously, I was going to have a friend of mine, I was going to take photos of my hair and have her do it just digitally. So that was when I knew. I thought, oh my God, this team really came together and they get the brief. I can't believe he just had this idea.
Well, I know what a lot of people are getting you for Christmas.
What?
Your name and hair. You're going to get so much name and hair, it's going to be crazy.
I don't know how they'll wrap it up.
No. Well, I'm excited to see what 2025 brings for you, just musically, acting-wise, I hear.
Yeah.
And many other things. That's the cool thing. I think you've worked your butt off.
Thank you.
And those trolls that we speak of say you might have taken the easier out. I have not seen that at all. I think you've put a lot of hard ass work into everything you have put out so far, and whatever comes into the future. And I'm excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, I know you have your lovely guitarist here from your. Which I heard you guys literally met over Zoom first and then got together and just started connecting.
Yeah, about 4 days ago, I want to say. Yeah.
This is like early relationship stuff right here.
But I've been very lucky to step into a situation with absolute pros, and I'm very excited about our show tonight at City Winery.
Yes.
It's going to be a really special show because actually I have been just me and a guitar for a really long time. And so this is going to be an experiment and an elevation. I get to move. I get to be sort of marrying the energy from my music videos with my live performance.
All right. Well, I'm excited. Scout, thank you so much for stopping by with it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And welcome to the Dunkin Music Lounge.
Thank you.
Take me for a ride. Every word we say, I feel it inside. Show me I'm the prize. On your knees, it's in your eyes. Words like fingertips that grace a second sun with burning rays. Now my body's on fire. And I'm so pretty when I tremble with desire. Teach me something new. You can use your words, a firm hand will do. Words like fingertips that graze a second sun with burning rays. Now my body is on fire. so pretty when I tremble with desire. Words like fingertips that graze the second sun with burning waves. Now my body is on fire, and I'm so pretty when I tremble with desire. Over and over and over again, I keep waiting to change. Over and over and over again, I keep doing it the same. I'm waiting for the pain that'll make a difference, trying in vain. I'm asking for grace, so surrender. Don't be tender, take me home. Over and over and over again, I keep waiting to change.